for a foot or an inch, yeah, I fight for you all. Is the truth and I'm in, yeah, I fight for every breath that I take, and I fight for every step that I make. When you add up the inches, life or death, winning or losing is the difference. You are the witness, inches around us, every second decisions. Too slow and I missed it, fast and I skipped it, but I'm on time so I gripped it. If you were ready to die then you will get this. If you're afraid of your life then you fight for that edge. No matter how far I come I know I still got a step to take. Pull that's it. Yeah, I do what I have to get where I got to. Eat, does that's it. I've been called worse by better, so what can you do to me? Fight for that edge. This is more than a team, it's family and I'll die for them.
Well, we welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to IWC's second annual Proving Ground event, the Young Talent Initiative. In the International Wrestling Cartel, I am Joe Dombrowski, joined by a very special guest this evening, a man no stranger to IWC fans who proved himself about 9 years ago here, Zima Ion. Welcome back to the organization.
What's up, Joe Dombrowski? It's a pleasure for me to be here. I really love the concept of this show, and it's funny you mentioned 9 years ago. I got my start 9 years ago. There's another guy that should have had his start in IWC, Ashton Amherst. But never say never, he's finally here.
Ladies and gentlemen, your contest is scheduled for one fall. As soon as he first already in the ring, he weighs in at 213 pounds. Wrestling out of the wrestling capital of the South, Atlanta, Georgia. Here is Ashton Amherst.
Well, Zima, as you attempt to enter the Proving Ground of commentary, Ashton Amherst enters the Proving Ground of the IWC Wrestling Ring, an individual that certainly has been mired by controversy no matter where he's gone throughout his career, a man that was formerly trained by another former IWC stalwart, Sterling James Keenan, now known as Corey Graves, down in NXT, the WWE developmental system. Amherst has had a long journey throughout many regional promotions here in the Pittsburgh area to finally arrive to attempt to prove himself in IWC. Well, Remy LaVey is a very unique dichotomy. There's not a lot known about this guy, but I think one can look at him and tell something about that boy just ain't right.
He looks like a greaser, like Pody Boy and Soda Pop. Do you get that reference?
I do get, that's an Outsiders reference,
yeah.
And not the Wrestling Outsiders. But Remy LaVey is one of the prodigies of the ICWA, the Iron City Wrestling Academy, that you've had your hand in off and on for a number of years, Zima, and we're set to check out this young man's very first official matchup here in IWC. But the issue he's entering is he's facing an individual that's new to this organization, but certainly a young veteran around these parts in Ashton Amherst.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be quite a challenge for young Remy LaVey.
To Amherst, it's all about lights, camera, and Ashton.
Yeah, this crowd clearly loves him.
Great reaction to Remy LaVey here.
Yeah.
Not sure about the bloodline of Remy with a LaVey surname, but
yeah, that's scary.
We'll get into more of that as we learn more about Remy as time goes on. But Ashton taking advantage, jumping Remy from behind. Certainly, Ashton, as we mentioned, has waited 7, 8, 9 years for this opportunity. Certainly, Ashton gonna make the most of it. He's succeeded everywhere else he's been, but really, it doesn't matter till you've done it here in IWC.
Exactly, and you can tell he is very aggressive right now, taking out all of his frustrations on poor Remy LaVey.
And Ashton actually a budding film career as well. He was prominently featured in the Zombies vs. Wrestlers film that was made down in West Virginia a number of months ago, but check out Remy. Strings some offense together, take Ashton down with a hip lock.
Remy LaVey, I gotta say, first professional match here. He looks quite comfortable. I see the confidence. That's something that, you know, it can sometimes take years and years to build up to, but he's showing it right here in his first match, Joseph.
Well, he's a self-described tormented soul that has a very unknown but tumultuous past, and Remy's told me his goal is to channel that inner angst and that inner hatred into his in-ring career, and certainly we saw a spurt of that a moment ago, but Amherst, the smart veteran, able to catch Remy on one of these, what you're going to see many of, rookie mistakes throughout the night.
Yeah, that will be a theme of the night, I think, Joseph.
And certainly the overall theme of the night, it's about impressing IWC's management. It's about impressing the veterans. Many are here taking notes in the catacombs, watching on monitors. These men are being evaluated constantly in their in-ring performances, and you will see several of these men brought back in the future. There's no guarantee. Right. There's no one contract for the winner. There's no set number of contracts. But whoever impresses will be back as we have a cover in the ring for 2.
That's why it is the Proving Grounds, a chance for each and every one of them to prove themselves, prove they deserve a spot on the future IWC shows.
You've got some of this outside talent who competes regularly throughout this state or other states looking for a regular opportunity, and you have some of these recently graduating trainees who are looking to show that they're good enough to start appearing regularly on our IWC live events. As into a cover once again is Ashton, and we've seen so much great talent come out of the ICWA, talking about guys like Andrew Palos and his partner Brian McDowell recently, HD Cannon, a number of others, and certainly the precursor to the ICWA, the Coalition of Competition, which brought us Zima Ion, Gory, the Gambinos, and many others.
Yeah, just look at what this show did for so many guys last year. This was the debut last year of Andrew Palos and HD Cannon, Mike Rain, so many guys that have been like very important in the last year in IWC, and it all started on this show. Very interested to see who's going to make that kind of impact, pun intended, here tonight.
Oh, get those cheap plugs out of the way.
I'm trying to be like you.
See, it's a lot harder for me to fit in Ring of Honor wrestling in this show, so, well, I guess I just did. But be that as it may, Amherst with a bicep, very impressively put together. I don't think you're going to find somebody in better physical shape on this Proving Ground show than
that man has been eating his egg whites and
nice takeover by Remy, again channeling that fire. Looking to make some friends and family proud here tonight.
Appears he's feeling some sort of pain in that lower back of his. Ashton's been doing a number on it for the last few minutes, though.
It's been systematic dissection, as they say, on the anatomy of Remy LaVey, but certainly a nice roaring elbow takes Ashton off his feet. Caught Ashton off guard, and Ashton gets his foot on the rope.
I'm very impressed with Remy LaVey, I gotta say.
There's something about this kid that these fans are just really adopting right away.
I think black magic has something to do with it.
Okay.
What do you think?
Could be Uncle Anton.
He's the type of guy that's conducting seances, the night before the show. He's got his Ouija board out.
High knee connects right up to the side of the jaw. Handful of hair into the bulldog. And we have a cover. Count of 2 and an air fall. Says sketchy referee CJ Sensation.
He is a very, very devious character.
Norm Connor's loyalist. That's all you need to know about that gentleman. And I use that term loosely.
You ever hung out with CJ Sensation?
Thankfully, no. Cover 2 and no. A fisherman suplex. And you know as well as I do, that maneuver's put away some of the best, but could not get the job done against Remy.
The heart showed by Remy LaVey. I'm thoroughly impressed right now.
Ashton could have been going to finish this thing off. Counter, almost had him. Remy showing some fight here, but got caught second time. And a move we know well.
Yeah.
MK Ultra, he calls it the Ashton experience, and it got the job done. And full credit goes out to Remy LaVey, a man who on paper was completely outmatched, a man who had all the odds stacked against him, but showed more fire, more courage, and more offense than maybe any insider would before coming into this matchup. He was too much for Ashton tonight, but Remy has still proved himself, in my estimation, even though he didn't win.
Absolutely, but a very great win for Ashton Amherst. Looked like $1 million out there. Oh, wait, he's going to talk.
That's a free lesson for you, kid. You see, tonight it's called Proving Grounds. I don't need to prove anything to anybody, especially all you waste of life. So August 24th, Cage Fury. I don't need an IWC contract. I'm gonna come do it on my own terms. And it's gonna be lights, camera, Ashton.
That's catchy.
Ashton Amherst has apparently booked himself and awarded himself an IWC spot.
You can't do that.
That's not how it works, but you gonna tell him no?
I might.
Well, your health is a concern, sir. We'd ask you to stay behind this table till you're 100%. But Ashton Amherst coming to IWC, apparently coming to Cage Fury.
Scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, he weighs in at 175 pounds from the Logan Mirror, Gory.
The evil, the macabre, the demonic. An embodiment of evil if there ever was one. You talk about a guy who has had his hatred overtake him and consume him. That is Gory in a nutshell. A man that disappeared from this guy. You never get used to that visual. Disappeared from this organization for months on end. We still don't know where he went. But when Gory came back, he wanted to make a statement. He targeted one man, and that's the opponent of Gory here tonight in this special grudge match. These men could not wait to get it on one-on-one. We're seeing this very early on the card, but certainly a lot of bad blood behind it, and someone you know quite well, Zima.
Yeah, obviously, Jason Gory and I know strangers to each other, and I gotta say, I've traveled up and down the roads with him. I've known him since we were kids. I've never seen him more focused than he is right now. Say what you will about his attitude, his personality, but he's more focused than ever.
Well, you hit it on the head. The Jason Gory that you knew has been replaced. There are no human-like qualities in that beast anymore.
This is another guy. Obviously, I've been away from IWC. I have not been a consistent feature on the shows. So every time I come back, and Logan Shulo looks better and better every single time. This is a guy that has definitely earned his place in IWC, and it's going to be a very, very good match tonight.
Well, Logan Shulo was set to end 2012 on top of the world, holding both IWC singles championships. He was shafted out of the IWC title by Team Big League, and just 1 month later, Shulo was defeated by Anthony Nese for the Super Indie Championship.
He hasn't been the same ever since. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, absolutely that's the case, and the reason that Shulo was defeated was because the lights mysteriously went out, and we saw Gory appear after a 5-month absence, spray that unknown red mist that burns your eyes right into the face of Shulo, and Gory has been targeting random victims, event after event, ever since. It looks like Gory's trying to make a name for himself. He has a bone to pick, whether it be with management, whether it be with the rest of these athletes who he feels have been chosen above him for opportunities. Gory has something to prove. Keep in mind, the last time Gory was here before he left, he won a main event steel cage match.
Yeah, and then we didn't see him for months and months. The guy definitely has a chip on his shoulder, but this match right here, you can tell Logan Shulo, he wants a piece of Gory. Definitely looking for some revengeance here tonight.
Nicely done. Gory certainly is an individual who is only happy when he's inflicting pain. It's usually, it's not about wins. Oh, you see that power of Shulo, about 230 pounds of solid muscle. You don't see Gory caring about competition anymore. It's not about style points. It's not about out-wrestling. It's about scratching and clawing and biting and kicking and anything he can to just, well, as he would put it, infect the world.
He's always had that mean streak in him, though. That's not like a new thing. That has always been... Oh!
Well, it's a counter, not exactly an ethical one. But just
He's have to get a rabies shot after this show.
Gory's he's got a bloodthirst to him.
I don't know what to make of Jason Gory. Like, this is not the guy that I grew up with and that I know. But whatever he's doing has definitely been working for him because he looks better than ever.
I would say, for my money, Gory is the most feared man in this part of the country. And certainly, he's not the biggest dog in the fight, but he uses his body weight so expertly. He uses his body as an offensive weapon because he just doesn't care what happens to him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just cannot match that raw strength of Logan Shulo, though, who, again, he looks bigger and bigger every single time I'm here, too. Another guy, much like Ashton Amherst, this guy's been eating his egg whites, eating his Wheaties. Oh.
But, man, you want to talk about two diametrically opposed individuals.
Yeah.
It's heavy metal Jesus versus a man that may be the devil incarnate.
We could start a heavy metal band with W.A.R.
Trust me, on this show we
Logan
can.
Shulo.
Shulo chops the shoulders. There's another recurring theme we'll get into.
Yeah. Oh, look at this.
I'll check out the balance. Amazing athlete. Amazing athlete is Gory.
I've never seen this in my life. Oh.
I have never seen a man perform a double stomp while both men were vertical.
I think Jason Gory might be practicing those same black magic techniques that we saw earlier from Remy and LaVey. These guys have tapped into, like, an otherworldly force or something, because that was...
And now biting away at the top of the head of Logan Shulo. Man, I'm not sure what goes through the mind of Gory. I'd shudder to even be in his mindset for 5 minutes, let alone walking around every day like he is.
I'm wondering how a guy like Logan Shulo even prepares for a match with this
version. My God.
Oh, Jason Gory, but that'll definitely get the job done.
Gory elevated. And we do have to correct you, it is Gory that is not Jason Gory anymore. The Jason died whenever any semblance of compassion that this individual had.
Well, I sit corrected.
Yes. Well, you don't want to hear him, hear you misrepresenting him and come over here.
Yeah, I'll spray that mist in my eyes.
As dangerous as your hairspray was over the years, we at least know the ingredients of what's in that.
Yeah, he might have one-upped me on that one.
And it's Shulo now, and you gotta see the giant swing of
Swinging
Shulo.
it like a rag doll.
An example of the just unreal power Shulo has demonstrated throughout this entire match. Multiple revolutions.
I think that's the strategy with Gory. He's so aggressive. You have to just basically be reckless and throw him around and do whatever you can.
And you can tell this is 7 months of pent-up anger and frustration on Shulo's case. He's wanted to get a hold of Gory, hasn't had the opportunity to. And you gotta wonder what's going through Gory's mind as Shulo hits a suplex float over for 2. If Gory can defeat Logan Shulo, that puts him well in line at either of IWC's top championships, and a championship held hostage by Gory is a very dangerous thought.
I completely agree with you, but Logan Shulo has definitely been dominating this match, and it's probably much to the surprise of Jason Gory.
And for the ride up into the belly overhead release
of the Steiner brothers themselves, Joseph.
That's very true. 2 and an ear fall.
I looked at Logan Shulo, and for a moment, he transformed into Rick Steiner.
Some of that black magic again. Shulo.
That'll be a theme of the night.
Gory again, gonna gnaw away at the skull of Logan Shulo. Shulo trying to fight it. And a beautiful adjustment. Gory is in full control of his body weight at all times. Nobody can manipulate themselves in an offensive way quite like Gory.
Very, very impressive right now with Jason Gory. Those teeth, too. You got to watch those. He's got very, very sharp 12-year-old molars. Like, I've been on the receiving end.
Shulo hits sternum first.
Oh.
And Gory marks his target behind Shulo. Full impact on the clothesline.
Shulo outsmarted him. Oh, Gory. Gory going cheap right there.
And you got to wonder what's going through the mind of Logan Shulo. Just weeks removed from losing a potential opportunity at the IWC Championship as part of Norm Connor's diabolical plot. Gory with a cover again. It was Shulo and Dalton Castle in a tag match against Team Big League. And whoever captured the winning fall in that tag team matchup would end up getting a championship opportunity. Norm wanted to take them out of the title picture for a year's time. Dalton got the cover, Shulo didn't. Is that on his mind?
Absolutely. You know, as if Shulo hasn't had enough reasons to be frustrated this year. On top of it all, Dalton Castle's next in line for the title shot instead of him. And there's a lot of people that feel that Logan Shulo should be the first in line anyway in having the heavyweight title.
Huge elevation on the one-man flapjack. Well, as we touched upon at the top of the segment, Shulo did not fairly lose either title, and Gory manipulates the official. And again, it's not about competition, it's about pain and agony.
This could be it.
Cover, but so difficult to keep that mass down. Shulo probably has a good 50, 60 pounds on Gory.
And balls of steel, apparently. Because that would have taken out a normal man, but Logan Shulo, not a normal man.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Pestilence coming up, that controversial choke-like maneuver of Gory. Shulo sensed it coming, big boot between the eyes. And Shulo looking for second life, resurrection if you will. Collides with a clothesline.
What could he be thinking here?
Well, he's got Gory reeling. He's got Gory in trouble.
Again.
If he gets string enough together, Shulo may have a chance.
Gory staggered. Could be that spinning power bomb he likes to use.
That halo bomb coming up. Could do it. The adjustment, the power bomb. Shulo gets revenge.
Shulo. Starting to look like his old self again. Back to his winning ways. And more importantly, back to his quest for IWC Gold.
Logan Shulo, you gotta believe he is 1A on that contenders list, right below Dalton Castle. I believe Castle and John McChesney have a date with Destiny at Cage Fury in the month of August. But in the meantime, Logan Shulo breathing down the neck of whomever may emerge as IWC champion. He finally exorcises the demon of his past known as Gory. Logan Shulo moves onward and upward and potentially back into championship contention. But how will Gory respond once he realizes he's been knocked down the pecking order? We'll chase that story as well. In the months ahead, much more Proving Ground still to come tonight.
Number one, they weigh in a total weight of 114 kilos. First, wrestling out of Mexico City, Mexico, here is the Low Rider and his tag team partner. Wrestling out of Reynosa, Mexico, here is Eric Cortez.
Two guys I'm very familiar with.
Yeah, I think I'll concede to you, Zima, two men that you know very well in your travels all across this country, all across this planet. We've seen Lowrider before, but now coming in with a tag partner.
Yeah, these guys have actually been teaming together in southern Texas, like the San Antonio, Houston area, as well as the northern part of Mexico, Reynosa specifically, for a company down there called War City Lucha. So they're very familiar. This is not their first time teaming together.
Introducing team number two. They weigh in a total weight of 373 and 1/2 pounds. Wrestling out of the Whiskey Bar in the Sunset Strip in Los Angeles, California. Here is Julie Lennox, Aiden Bell. We are Rockstars.
And this team certainly still riding high. The team that chopped down the giant of Team Big League known as Rex Lawless. Aiden Bale, only 21 years of age in his own right. Jordan Lennox, who was really one of the breakout stars of last year's Proving Ground. He had won the three-way match to advance to the four-way match, so he had proven himself more times than I can count.
This match, you're going to see a lot of hungry youth in this match. Everyone, for the most part, in their very early 20s. So, should be really exciting to watch.
And one established veteran as well.
One established.
First, wrestling out of the skies above Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, here's Andrew Dallas. And his tag team partner from Brunswick Reigns, Brian McDowell.
Two members of Team Flexor, for lack of a better term, the bowling enthusiast Brian McDowell and the goggles enthusiast Andrew Palace.
Rumor has it that Flexor is calling his group of minions the Circus Circuit. What do you think of that name?
I think it's very fitting.
Very fitting. Andrew Palace and his goggles, and Brian McDowell, the serious one of the group, bowling enthusiast, was actually kicked out of many bowling alleys for his aggressive behavior.
Well, you can't be aggressive in the bowling circuit, so I can certainly understand that.
The guy did not like losing in bowling. Channeling his anger and bring it to the world of professional wrestling, Joseph.
Certainly. One look at Chess Flexor and Company, you feel like calling America's Most Wanted and telling them I found everybody. These guys aren't right.
Where's Gory Futuristic? That's what I want to know. Conspicuous by his absence.
I have a better question. When is Gory Futuristic? He may not even be in this year.
Huh.
He may be in the future with his frequent training
Well,
partner.
I hope he's in the past. If he's back in 2004, maybe he can talk me into not ever getting a tramp stamp.
We'll do more self-evaluation with Zima Ion as we psychoanalyze him for the next couple of hours. Now, tell us about the senior member of this tag team in the ring right now.
Eric Ortiz, the guy, 34 years old, been wrestling for nearly 20 years, if you can believe that. Trained in CMLL's school in Mexico City under Tony Salazar. So the guy knows what he's doing in that ring.
Absolutely. It's such an advantage south of the border where you're able to start at such a young age. Some athletes 16, some as young as 14, as with Lowrider, his tag team partner.
Yeah, Lowrider, a guy very dedicated to professional wrestling, left his home, left his parents in Texas at the age of 14 just for an opportunity to train in Mexico with guys like Super Crazy, and definitely one of the youngest vets out there.
A guy that's had such a long, successful career, even before the age of 18, even longer career when he was 18, but in any event, he's here now at, what, the age of 20 years old?
20 years old, just turned 20. Andrew Palace, let's talk about him for a second. Hanging with a 15-year vet on the mat. Very impressive.
Let's talk about Andrew Palace hanging with a 9-year vet Zima Ion a number of months ago.
You know, that's a good point, too. That was his first singles match, and definitely did not feel like it was his first match.
Now tell me this, leading into that matchup, did you expect what you got out of Andrew Palace? Did he surprise you?
He surprised me. I thought I was just going to wipe the mat with him 5-6 minutes and I'd be, home drinking a milkshake or something like that. But no, he gave me a fight of my life, and I think he's hurting himself by hanging out with Flexor and company. This is a kid with a ton of potential. He's showing it in the ring right now.
He's just easily manipulated, is what you're saying.
He's naive. He's naive, and I don't understand the goggles. What do you know about steampunk, Joseph Dombrowski?
Excuse me?
Steampunk. Apparently he's a steampunk enthusiast, and that's where the goggles come from. I don't even know what this thing is, steampunk. We might have to Google that later.
According to Justin Plummer at IWC Aftershock, you put on the goggles, it's like an LSD trip. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know what's going through Andrew Palace's mind, but
what about his hair? What's going through that?
That's the reason I had to cut my hair. This guy's stealing my swag.
I don't think he pulls it off quite like you.
I don't think he does, but I don't want anyone to compare me to Andrew Palace.
Oh no, not at all.
Especially not as far as looks go.
And unless you're comparing ability acquired at a very young age in the game.
Well, I'll give you that, but
I know Zima Ion was making waves at 18, 19 years of age. Certainly caught all of our eye from day one. Andrew Palace, similar, although he's done it in a much different way. But as we mentioned, McDowell and Palace, as well as Jordan Lennox, discovered at the initial Proving Ground. And Lowrider we've seen as a special guest once or twice a year for the past number of years, and every time we see him, he is better as well. And again, as we mentioned, one of the most experienced guys in this matchup, yet still very, very young.
Yeah. Look how aggressive. Brian McDowell, this guy. Oh! Super aggressive in all of his movements, but Lowrider shutting him down with that cutter.
Yeah, just out-quickened him. Tag into Aiden Vale.
This should be a good matchup right here. Both guys about the same age, I think.
Lowrider apparently claiming he's going to smoke the competition.
Yeah, he's picked up a few bad habits since turning 20.
Well, I mean, when you leave home at 14, that kind of happens.
Yeah, especially when you're around a bunch of pro wrestlers.
He's had to learn how to survive on the streets in the slums of Mexico, right?
Unfortunately, that is true.
There you go.
A lot of stray dogs in the area.
That's the least of his problems, I'd imagine. Aiden Vale was injured last year at Proving Ground. You can see by the tape on his body. But amazing agility nonetheless. Aiden down for the cover, 2-0. Aiden's been bothered by some nagging shoulder problems the past couple of years. But Aiden is an individual who has had his eye on the prize since a very young age. Tag into Jordan Lennox now. Aiden used to sit ringside at some of these events with some other loser and watch these matchups. And now, today, Aiden Vale in the ring to living his dream.
Yeah, and Jordan Lennox, this guy looks like he's put on some size.
And he looks focused, he looks determined. W.A.R, We Are Rock Stars have been a big force in the tag team division. We've seen them have a number of great battles. Backslide, center of the ring for 2. A number of great battles with the likes of Jimmy Nuts and Joseph Brooks of Team Big League.
Yeah, you definitely got to think We Are Rock Stars. They want a shot at those tag titles. You can just tell by how hungry they are in the ring right now. Like, they're trying to impress somebody.
And we've got a lot of aspiring musicians here tonight as part of Proving Ground, and as well as aspiring wrestlers, but I don't think anybody does it quite like We Are Rock Stars, as Lennox gets hung up with a hot shot. Hal's been studying his films. A little bit of Eddie Gilbert-esque by Andrew Palace. Very good influence.
And now he's staying right on Jordan Lennox right now.
Yeah,
the guy can't breathe, and now he's just trying to choke him out.
Not just with the chin lock, but also the body scissors constricting the expansion of the lungs of Jordan Lennox.
Very smart wrestling by young Andrew Powell.
Again, wise beyond his years.
Yeah, and again, why is he hanging out with Chest Flexor and the circus circuit?
Poor choice of friends. I've heard Palace and Flexor together referred to as Team Froflex.
That's terrible. It's not even creative.
I'm not saying it's my idea. I'm saying it's happened. There's a lot of things these men have done I can't explain. But I may have to if there's a deposition one day. Palace taunting Aiden Vale. Trying to get under the skin of the 21-year-old.
Could you imagine a night on the town with Flexor and his cronies? Could you imagine? We should go. We should really go sometime.
Only if there's documentation on film. What if they take that Chinese dragon out they had about a year ago?
Yeah, what do you think these guys do for fun?
We got to cover 2-0. I can only hazard a guess.
You ever seen the movie VHS on Netflix?
I have not.
You should watch it. I can see Flexor and his crew doing something similar to the things I've seen in that movie.
Palace has that bowling ball polishing rag. Or
here we go.
I'm sure there's a technical term for it. Illegally choking out Lennox. And McDowell gets the suplex. Cover. Near fall situation.
Brian McDowell, yes he is. He's wearing bowling shoes.
Wonder if it was Flexor's idea for McDowell to channel his bowling past into his in-ring style.
If it was, it seems to be working for the guy. He's in control of Jordan Lennox right now.
And Palace is so upset he's in somebody else's corner.
Somebody else's corner, interfering with our hard cam.
Look at Zima with these technical terms. Sunset flip by Lennox for 2. McDowell can just smother you. He's got that mass.
Very aggressive guy. Would not want to be in the ring with him ever.
Lowrider back in.
Oh no.
I do believe this is one fall if I'm correct.
Those kicks are the truth. Let me tell you, Lowrider, I remember in Mexico, this guy waking up in the morning, going to kickboxing training. So those kicks are no joke. Eric Ortiz, I'm sure, also can deliver some very hard shots. These guys in Mexico, they're shooters, man. Believe it.
Covered by Ortiz for 2. And with the expertise, the experience of Ortiz helping along Lowrider, he'll only get that much more dangerous.
Absolutely. These guys traveled 20-plus hours for an opportunity at both CZW and IWC this weekend. So you know they're giving it their all in there. They don't want to have a 20-hour drive back as losers.
And they're looking to prove themselves, maybe not necessarily a regular spot on the IWC roster because of their extensive travels, but looking to just prove themselves in a new geographic region.
Absolutely.
A hair ringer. A hair ringer. Not often I've called that one. But, hey, if it works, why not?
Oh, Jordan Lennox.
Lost him on the suplex. Great counter by Lennox.
Very nice.
The Insiguri at an opening, and Lennox crawling towards Aiden Vale.
Things are about to get hot.
In my opinion, the man that could be the brightest shining star in our future, Aiden Vale, the legal man.
Aiden Vale cleaning house. That injured shoulder does not seem to be bothering Aiden Vale at the moment.
That adrenaline is pumping. Aiden is feeling no pain. I've never seen this young man so pumped up. They've got Ortiz isolated. Great double team. We Are rock stars really coming into their own, but watch out. Flexor McDowell, big miscue. The best laid plans. And there's a stunner, center ring by Ortiz.
Eric Ortiz seizing an opportunity there.
Roll through by Lennox, could have him. No. Man, what a matchup here. Big time bragging rights on the line. International flavor.
Action's so fast, like I can't even keep up with it, to be honest with you.
It's just beginning to absolutely break down. Lennox catches Ortiz, but watch the partner lowrider.
Lowrider outside the ring. We got both luchadors out there. Jordan Lennox gonna fly.
That crossbar to the outside, the Pescado. I learned that watching Jeff Gorman's tapes on YouTube.
Now, if it's like an LSD experience where he puts on the goggles, probably not the smartest thing to do before you fly outside the ring.
A huge collision. I'm not sure what Palace was seeing through those goggles, but he didn't like it. He connected.
Guy's having a bad trip, I guess.
My God, incense and peppermints. Aiden Vale.
Aiden Vale trying to get the crowd into this one.
He will rock you. Maybe not.
If Brian McDowell has anything to say about it.
McDowell sends all the pins crashing.
He's looking for a 7-10 split here.
Oh, he's looking for a strike. Big X into the charge in the corner. Huge side slam to follow. Big win here, man.
Aiden Vale, what heart. McDowell's not happy about that count at all. He's looking to end this now. What?
Went for an uppercut, I believe.
I think he was trying to touch him in the nether regions.
Aiden Vale up and down with the overhead neck breaker.
Here comes Lennox.
Oh, amazing teamwork. One knows where the other is. We got a cover. W.A.R gets the victory.
We are rock stars. Looking great in this three-way tag.
Aiden Vale, Jordan Lennox, a big-time victory. If I'm the IWC Tag Team Champions, if I'm Keith Haught and Colin Delaney, hey, if I'm the Founding Fathers, if I'm anybody.
Yeah, keep an eye on this tag team for sure.
Because W.A.R is on their way to the upper echelon. Huge three-way tag matchup. Big-time action. W.A.R gets a victory. Last year, we discovered Jordan Lennox. This year, he may have truly arrived. Big-time victory and back to the drawing board for Palace and McDowell.
Who's ever Sammy Guevara?
Well, a gentleman that's made a lot of waves and somebody that also you have studied in your travels is Sammy Guevara. Are we pronouncing that correctly?
Sammy Guevara, this kid from Southern Texas. A huge potential right here. This guy looking for an opportunity. And I think he's definitely going to turn some heads tonight if he can hopefully not let that cocky attitude of his get in the way.
And again, much like Ortiz and Lowrider, an individual that's traveled many, many hours to make a name for himself here, this shows you the prestige that Proving Ground has gained in just the year it's been around.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great. You know, you see young talent like this traveling long distances trying to make a name for themselves.
Man, it's worked for NWA Anarchy, my good friend Bill Barons down in Georgia. Looking for experience.
He weighs in at 199 pounds and he's a roaming the streets at night, creeping while you're sleeping. He is your reigning IWC Super Indie Champion, Facade.
What a challenge for young Sammy Guevara. Of all people, Facade, this is not going to be an easy task for him.
And a man is Facade, a three-time Super Indie champion. Only one man has more title reigns with that particular gold than Facade, and I believe that would be John McChesney, Facade really rose to the occasion at Super Indy and really put himself back on the map after a very difficult latter half of 2012, which saw him go down to an injury where he was unable to defend his Super Indy championship and that title for title matchup as surrogate Sami Callihan lost the title for Facade. That's got to be a major heartbreaker for Facade, who worked that much harder to get his property back.
Yeah, what a road back to the title this guy had at Super Indy. But proving that he belonged, proving he is one of the most decorated wrestlers right now in this company, your current Super Indy champion. And this will be a very interesting contrast of styles here. Sammy Guevara, very, very aerial, much like our Super Indy champion Facade. So this should be a delight to watch.
So it wouldn't be much of a contrast of styles. It would be.
I don't know. I don't really know what that means. I've heard announcers say it before, so I just wanted to try it out.
Well, he's acknowledging, is Mr. Guevara, that he is the best ever, and we are to inform you, fine folks at home, of that. 19 years old, 3-year pro. Certainly well on his way to potentially establishing that. Is he better than Facade? I have my doubts.
We will find out, I guess. Sammy Guevara, a student of the Booker T Pro Wrestling Academy in Houston, Texas. So despite his inexperience, he's learned from the best.
He has, and that gives you such a leg up on the competition. So many athletes who maybe don't take this business as seriously, they will train the nearest location they can find. Or they'll find somebody with maybe a fly-by-night reputation.
Right.
Not this young man. No. You want to go to the best, you go to either Louisville, or you go to Lance Storm in Calgary, you go to Booker T in Houston. You study from men that have done it on the biggest stages. And Booker T, you'd be hard-pressed to think of a legend in this industry that's still as active in the industry as he is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Guevara, you mentioned CZW. I can only imagine how that fan base took to this gentleman.
Yeah.
Not exactly the prototypical member of the Ultraviolet Combat Zone.
Yeah, I would agree with you, and there's that attitude I was talking about.
Again, like a young Zima Ion.
Like a young Zima Ion. He'll learn one day.
He'll learn the hard way like you had to.
Yeah.
But certainly the sky is the limit for this young man. And if he can defeat Facade here tonight, he will earn a Super Indy Championship matchup at Caged Fury next month. And certainly if he beats Facade, there's no question he's earned it.
Facade's put on some size recently, too. How much do you think that guy weighs, Joseph?
Well, Mr. Donovan, I would have to say he's probably closing in on that 200-pound mark. And for a guy that fast, that's nothing to sneeze at.
And you can tell he's definitely been putting in some time in the gym. Facade looking better than ever.
And he's training lean, so he stays with that speed and endurance.
Absolutely.
That endurance took him through Super Indy, took him through 2 men to defeat in the finals.
Sammy Guevara going for a cheap shot there, but Facade ain't having it.
Now, who will have the advantage once this pace quickens in your estimation? Because we know it will.
I mean, Sammy Guevara, you got to give it to him. Like, they're both quick, they're both fast. Sammy Guevara at 19, and Facade in his late 20s. Guevara might be quicker.
That may be an astute analysis there. Facade trips up Guevara. Step ahead, showing that, again, a young veteranship. Facade been around the game in ring about 7 years or so now. I'm not sure if Mr. Guevara wants to attempt to match strikes with Facade with his martial arts background that Facade has.
Yeah.
The best ever.
Not the best chops ever, I'll say that.
Not exactly, no. He's not going to pay the bills off his knife edges. But he certainly makes up for that.
Oh, look at that.
Amazing agility such as that. And that was more for style points than anything.
He's just showing off now.
No follow through.
But he ain't the only one that can show off.
Yeah, but Facade can follow through. He got the job done. That's what Mr. Guevara needs to realize. You cannot waste time in the ring with Facade. He does indeed have that ninja-like speed.
Look at him. He is a ninja. Look at this. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. Those neck bridges paying off. Guevara in trouble, Facade up and over.
Facade, he's like a cat.
Facade looking to quicken the pace.
Oh! Head scissors.
It's advantage Neon Ninja thus far. Didn't get all the satellite head scissors, but enough to take him over.
He has definitely flustered Sammy Guevara with his unorthodox offense here.
And Guevara needs to create some distance, but easier said than done. The Aerosol Assassin. Going springboard.
Oh,
got caught.
Guevara. One step quicker.
The infamous inverted atomic drop.
What do we have here?
Oh, God! Back of the head first. Onto that top turnbuckle and almost had him there. And certainly, you know quite well, that's a padding that is protecting a solid steel bolt.
Yeah, that's definitely taking a lot out of Facade here. Does not seem to be, oh man, he's out right now.
Facade needs to shake the cobwebs after such a harsh landing on his head. Guevara needed to change the tempo. He needed to stunt the momentum of Facade, and man, he pulled it out in a big way.
Yeah.
Caught Facade coming in with that inverted atomic drop, and followed through with that corner shot. And now it's Guevara dictating what's going on. Backbreaker, nicely done.
Working over that back that was sorely damaged off that brutal German suplex into the buckle.
And if your back is damaged to the point where movement is difficult, that takes away a large percentage of Facade's
offense. Absolutely. Guevara very much in control of this match. Slamming him. What could we see here, Joseph?
19, and he's wrestling like he's in his mid-30s. And I mean that as...
like a reverse rolling thunder.
And it didn't pop. I meant that in the case that Guevara was making sure he didn't make any mistakes. He was wrestling very tactful. But before he could even say it, he made a mistake. And Facade seizing the opportunity. Counter from behind.
Guevara stretching that back out once again.
Doing damage on the neck and the back, crimping up the upper body while trapping the ankle of Facade. Facade's got a history of injury and damage to that ankle area. Guevara doing his homework again. Into the cover. But again, the resolve Facade, a man that's lost that championship a number of times before, does not want to go through that again. He survived Super Indy to regain that championship. What lengths will that man go to keep it?
Absolutely. He knows what it feels like to lose his title, and he's worked harder than ever to get it back now, and it's going to take a lot more than Sammy Guevara thinks to take a win over Facade right now. Guevara getting a little aggressive here, Joseph.
Guevara relentless.
Again, this kid's 19 years old, and he's this good now. Imagine what he'll be like when he's 26, when he's my age. It's scary to think about, isn't it?
It absolutely is. The problem that with Guevara that's going to hold him back, and that did hold you back for a while,
still holds me back occasionally,
is that he realizes how good he is, and he's let that get to his head, and then some.
He's getting a little workout in.
And he calls this the best move ever. Because he is the best ever. Self-proclaimed. Samoan drop. You know, when you have success at such a young age, it can mess with your head. You see these men, they work 5, 10, 15, 20 years to get a break. Some people are just good. Some people are just better than good. And some people have luck and timing on their side as well. Guevara has that complete package.
Oh.
Arabian moonsault counter.
Moonsault's not working out for Sammy tonight.
Well, Sammy, whether he knows it or not, just pulled a move out of the Facade playbook.
Yeah.
Facade saw it coming.
Shouting it out probably wasn't the smartest move.
Again, that ego. Facade walking the ropes and connecting with a drop kick.
Facade's had a lot taken out of him in these last few minutes.
No question about that. The official with the obligatory 10 count. And you can sense Facade has turned the tide. You can feel the momentum shift right now. Facade can feel that second burst of adrenaline, and he is ready to unload here, taking what Guevara has and responding in kind. And there's really no match for those Facade round kicks. Chopping up and down the anatomy of Guevara. And there is no counter for the lightning-like speed of the legs of Facade.
Absolutely. This crowd getting behind Facade right now, Joseph. What could we be seeing here?
Certainly always a crowd favorite. Into the buckle. Nobody home in the corner. Springboard.
No.
Heel kick, flush of the jaw.
He knocked his lights out with that one. Could be over right now.
Facade into the lateral press. Hook of the leg for 2.
Very competitive match we've been seeing between these two.
Yeah. Guevara came into this matchup hoping for Facade to bow before him. Now it's anything but. Facade showed him how it's done. Arabian moonsault, neon ninja style, but couldn't put him away.
Facade now trying to reel the people back in. Sammy Guevara, he's been hit with some high impact offense these last few minutes. If he wants to impress somebody and get a victory over Facade, he's gonna have to pull something out.
Well, Facade looking to pull out the dreadlock. But Guevara...
Must have been watching some videos.
Yeah, Guevara got back to his feet. Sensed it coming. Twisting suplex, nicely done. Maybe half a brain buster mixed in there as well. You can't do the dreadlock when your opponent's on his feet, Guevara. Guevara knew that. And now, maybe setting to put... What in the world? A standing 1.5.
Standing shooting star leg drop. Have you ever seen that?
Never in my life. That's unreal.
It was not enough to put away Facade, though. I'm very surprised.
Guevara.
Maybe trying to do a top rope version of that. Who knows?
Maybe so. What else does this man have in his arsenal?
Oh.
What high risk? Tried to adjust midstream as he sensed Facade moving out of the way. Still landed awkwardly.
Oh, that's it.
Those ribs still in pain from the moonsault. Sharp kick flush to the side of the head.
Wait, Guevara.
Oh, digging into the eyes.
Into the eyes.
Pulling on all stops to earn a Super 80 title shot.
Oh.
And both men landed awkwardly there.
Yeah.
Both men tried to shift one another's weight.
Oh, that did not look pretty, but Facade seems to have taken the worst of that one.
Well, Facade ended up on top, but the problem was he landed face first. And now Guevara up top. Once again.
Oh.
Facade. Again, in a moment's notice, back to his feet. The desperation starting to set it on both men.
What is he even going for?
And Facade trying to elevate Guevara way up top, way high in the air. Oh my God!
Facade looks like he's killing himself with that one.
But what did he do to Guevara?
Put him away, though.
And that is a better illustration than we can provide of what the Super 80 Championship means to Facade. A man that risked his own well-being.
We're gonna win the match. He's looking to be alive right now.
To win this matchup, to put Guevara out of title contention. And again, that's what Guevara brought to the table. Those are the stakes that maybe Facade felt needed to be pulled out. I would never, my God, never thought I would see in all my years, everything I've seen of Facade, never thought I'd see a risk like that.
Yeah, it paid off though, but very impressive showing for Sammy Guevara.
Two very awkward landings for Facade in about a 2-minute span on his face, and again, practically on the man's neck. But again, we touched on it earlier in the matchup, that neck strength, those bridges, those exercises Facade does religiously in the gyms and the dojos. That may have been what saved him in this occasion.
I think so.
Neither man left the ring yet.
All right, what do we got here? Facade requesting a microphone.
No. I'll tell you what, for a non-title match, that was a hell of a fight. being said, Sammy, you got a hell of a future ahead of you, brother. And you know, just to make that future a little brighter, this Super Indie title, the heart you showed tonight, as cocky as you were thinking you're the best ever, I'll give you a title shot anytime, anywhere, as long as I'm holding this bad boy.
Mark of a true champion. And truly what Super Indie is all about, competition and respect.
I can't wait to see a rematch between these two.
Sammy Guevara may very well be the future of this industry. Facade, however, the present of the Super Indie division, the reigning champion, moves forward with certainly a slew of challengers still waiting in the wings. What a matchup we've seen. What a night we've seen thus far. We're nowhere near done. Tag team street fight coming up next. We first saw Segaris and McBride. Well,
Whoa.
change of plans apparently.
That ain't one of my students.
Yeah. Marshall Gambino answers to nobody.
Who's the girl?
That would be Madison, the business associate of the family.
Well, as you can see, it's just me. No Mickey Gambino. I got word today that Mickey's not medically cleared to wrestle from the attack from the blue collar slaughterhouse. So, at first, I thought maybe we won't even have the match. I don't have nothing to prove to them. But then I got to thinking. You know what? I've never backed down from a fight in IWC, and I ain't about to now. I'm 200%. Mickey might not be. So you bring those two boys in the back out here, and I'll take them on by myself.
But for a second, we would see Marshall backpedaling.
Hold on, Marshall. Hold on, Marshall Gambino.
What do we have here?
Chest flexor with Ginger.
Listen, I was supposed to wrestle some GQ Hayden Ferra in the back. I need to be in a high-profile match, so don't worry. I'm sure Chuck will find some hanger-on slug to wrestle Hayden Ferra. You have yourself a partner. I need to be in this street fight. Are you serious? I'm not serious. I've been in many fights and I've destroyed many people in the streets. So you can count
What?
on me. Is this a joke? You want to be my partner? Yes.
Chest flexor on the streets.
All right.
That's not a guy I'd want to encounter in the streets, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, but for a different reason. Chest flexor, who'd he ever beat?
Oh, looks like we're going to have Flex Gambino here. He's a Gambino for the night.
Yeah, well, Chest flexor, a former associate of the Gambino family, back during their heyday dominating tag team wrestling
I forgot about
here in IWC, along with Pump Ferrari. And, well, this is a White Oak street fight. Anything goes. And we got some plunder, baby.
Tell you what, blue collar, they don't know much about the streets, but these guys know about the dirt roads,
Yeah.
the backwoods.
Absolutely do. They know about surviving in the elements.
Yeah, which can be just as dangerous as the streets. A lot of wild animals out there.
Yeah. Bit of a culture clash here when you got both of these tag teams.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a culture clash between Marshall and Flexor.
No kidding. Well, Mickey Gambino not medically cleared thanks to an attack by Blue Collar Slaughterhouse. Gambino's and Blue Collar have been laying one another out for months now, ever since Blue Collar interjected into the Gambino's business back at Night of Superstars in April to try to send a message. We saw the Gambinos lay Blue Collar out in their own hometown in Newell, West Virginia, your own hometown as well, Zima, and drive them through tables, assault them with chairs. It's classic Gambino assault. Absolutely unstoppable. I believe the Gambinos once again were arrested and escorted away from Newell, as they have been every single month they've been there.
Yeah, those guys, their criminal record, Joseph.
Absolutely true. And now street fight underway. Oh my God! Right underway.
Good night, Bronco.
280 pounds of power. Marshall the Bull and he is not in a good mood as if he ever was in one.
Oh, man.
And what about the business advisor, the business associate, Madison? What kind of business?
like her.
What kind of business would you like to
I don't know.
associate with?
I want to give her the business, I'll tell you that.
All right, easy there. Marshall with a leg drop. And we've seen her instrumental in recent months as well as assisting as well, Bronco not getting a lot behind those shots. There you go. That's a little better. I think Bronco just went dumpster digging before he came here. Whatever he found, he brought with him.
Do you think that's what Flexor wears in the streets?
Well,
When he's destroying people in the streets?
either that or that chest machine vest he was wearing a year ago at Proving Ground.
I never saw that.
Oh, well,
Shame it couldn't be here tonight.
story for another time then. As this is going to be tough to track here, Zima, because there is false count anywhere, no disqualification, and at least 3 out of 4 of these guys like to fight, and the other one has just found himself here under extenuating circumstances.
What are the Slaughterhouse setting up here? These guys are a couple of no good punks, let me tell you. I train these guys, and I train them, and I'm proud to say that, but these guys cannot be controlled, they cannot be tamed. They're like Miley Cyrus, can't be tamed.
Nice double team there, as I believe Flexor was in an office chair as he was wheeled toward Segaris with a clothesline. And that's how these guys are. They grew up in the backwoods. They're very salt of the earth. They have a very country mentality. They're not used to these big cities and the book learning.
Yeah, that's true. Matt Segaris actually raised for the first 2 years of his life by a pack of wild deer.
Is that so?
That's what they told me.
I see. Well, I'm not so sure about that, but we'll take his word for it. I'm not going to tell him no. Action all over this White Oak Athletic Association.
The crowd doesn't know what to make of this. They're stunned right now.
We've seen some wild brawls here in the past years. IWC been here many times. 2 Super Indies have been contested here.
Yeah, I was here once.
Couldn't do without you. I was here once.
I was trying to remember who I wrestled. Speaking of street fights, now that I remember it, I teamed with the Necro Butcher, a guy no stranger to these type of matches. So, maybe
there you
Blue
go.
Collar,
well, you're having some flashbacks then, aren't you?
maybe the Blue Collar spending some time in West Virginia with Necro Butcher to prepare for this match. Who knows?
Bronco's got a plunger.
What are we about to see here?
Oh, no. Oh. Well, to quote Happy Days, sit on it. I'm sure there's a joke about Flexor being full of crap somewhere in here.
Well, you're much quicker on your feet than me, so.
Well, not quick enough to get away from this war zone, however.
Blue Collar look at home in this environment.
And that's saying something, considering one of the opponents is the most dangerous tag team ever.
Yeah.
Flexor waving the puncher around with a frightened look on his face.
What do we have here?
Segaris maybe going a little bit of Terry Funk on us. Wearing that guardrail as a necktie. And it accidentally hit Bronco.
What a dumbass.
What a maroon.
Little Three Stooges action from the Blue Collar kids.
Well, it's no laughing matter when you're in there with Marshall the Bull, however. Flexor, well, jury's out on that one, but Marshall, keep on what we've seen the Gambinos do. Parking lot assaults. We've seen them drop people on hoods of cars. We've seen them assault people with tasers.
Yeah, I've been on the receiving end of that. I'm pretty sure they slammed me in some thumbtacks, made a human pin cushion out of me once or twice.
Absolutely have. Flexor swinging away wildly at Bronco. Marshall drops Segaris. Marshall's hurt, though.
Flexor.
Yeah.
You know, Flexor fitting in surprisingly in this element as well.
Well, the thing about Flexor is most of his fights, he's in this company, he started half unconscious. So he's got to step up on the competition right then and there.
I mean, this is a guy that people don't take him seriously, but I seem to remember the first match he ever had in IWC was against Low Key, and
oh my God, Flexor!
And he hung with Low Key, but right now he's hung up in the guardrail.
Yeah, he just got dropped through steel, and that jagged edge of that metal pole. Oh my God! Digging into both these athletes, both Flexor and Bronco. Flexor's faced Low Key, Ray Rose, Super Hentai.
Kamala, didn't he?
He was actually Kim Chi for a night for some reason. Got unmasked his chest flexor and then got beat up by Mr. Hughes.
There, that was it. It was Mr.
Not his
Hughes.
night. Tasted the Cobra Clutch that night from Sergeant Slaughter too, but Flexor, you can't take his personality seriously, but you have to respect his toughness because he grew up in this business in the Gambino family.
Yeah.
He is tough. He may not know what to do half the time in a fight. Oh my God! And that was straight up neck on steel.
These guys pulling out all the stops.
Well, again, the tag team division of IWC, very heated. You got teams like W.A.R and Team Big League and the Founding Fathers and Colin Delaney and Keith Haught, all fighting for supremacy.
Tag team division, I would say the hottest it's ever been since about 2006, Joseph.
Absolutely. And there's a segue from Haught somewhere into what's been just deposited in the ring.
You're good.
A mannequin. Again, we talk about what Flexor may or may not do in his personal life. Blue Collar brought that to the ring, but Flexor may leave with it.
Yeah, what do we have here?
Oh my God! A Guitar Hero guitar?
Hero. I need an extra one of those. They could have just gave that to me.
Well, I think you could pick it up after the match.
I might. It probably doesn't work anymore. We're going to play a little Three Dog Night later.
There you go. Got to respect the classics. And Marshall making sure that Segaris respects the boot of Marshall the Bull.
Marshall directing traffic here, it looks like.
I think Marshall's signaling for the end of this.
Maybe they're going to do the Curse of the Gambino.
Well, the buttons are coming undone. I think Marshall...
He's getting his freaky side right here, Joseph.
Marshall not getting paid by the hour.
What is Marshall going to... This guy can fly.
We've seen him. We've seen him at 280 fly.
Yeah.
We've seen him at 320 fly.
What is this? What is going on here?
We've never seen this. No!
Oh!
Onto steel. Onto solid floor.
This goes to show you do not pick a fight with the Gambino family. If there's anyone you don't pick a fight with, it's them.
You mess with a family, you're gonna get whacked, or in this case, squashed.
It's safe to say Matt Segaris will be sleeping with the fishes.
There you go.
See?
Flexor has got some kind of, I believe that's part of our set in our backstage interview area. And Segaris and Flexor back and forth. Driver, nicely done. We got a cover, 2 and no.
How much more can these guys take?
Segaris may be bleeding from the lip, I'm not sure.
It appears so.
That shows the toll this has taken.
Wearing the crimson mask on his lip.
Come as you are, dress how you want, use what you want.
What could he be doing with that? Got some chain link fence here.
And Flexor fighting for his life here. Turned his back. Look out.
Little man-on-man action.
There you go.
I like it.
Rock hard abs right to the face.
Segaris looking for something else here. This did not work out for him with the chair earlier.
Not at all. High risk a second time! Flexor sandwiched between flesh and steel.
Completely destroying that chain link fence in the process.
And here comes,
hey, Kingpin!
The rest
Palace.
of this circus circuit.
There's Gory.
Futuristic Palace McDowell. McDowell with a back fist, and now it's what? 5 on 2.
Circus circuit taking out Matt Segaris right now.
Well, it appears Chest Flexor did have a plan.
There was a method to his madness. not mess with Chest Flexor. These guys love him.
And Madison positioning Marshall the Bull back into the ring. And Marshall gonna pick up the win.
What a brutal match.
The team of Chest Flexor and Marshall Gambino.
Absolute physicality personified. But in the end, it turned into a mugging. It turned into gang warfare. It turned into the same tactics that Flexor learned as part of the Gambino family that he's apparently developed to use in this circus circuit.
Yeah.
And Chest Flexor just won a street fight.
Yeah, he did, but I gotta give him credit. He held his own. Well, right now he's not looking like much of a winner.
Right now he needs held. Chest Flexor may not realize he won this match till the next 2 or 3 days from now. But Marshall the Bull and Flexor get retribution for the family on Blue Collar Slaughterhouse, and they dropped him. They dropped him. Absolutely vicious street fight between these tag teams. Plenty more proving ground to come. Who would have thought Flexor and company, the last man standing after this volatile war. Set to get underway with the second half of IWC's Proving Ground 2. Joe Dabrowski here. Assuming I will be momentarily rejoined by Zima. We'll see how that comes to pass. Very popular young athlete, as always, is Zima. And in the ring could be a athlete to be popular in the future in GQ Hayden Ferra, a musician turned model turned professional wrestler. He's a jack of all trades and looking for the same success in wrestling that he's seen in other walks of life. Keith Haught and Colin Delaney, perhaps the unlikeliest IWC Tag Team Champions in history. Keith Haught, one of the individuals discovered at last year's Proving Ground, back here once again to test another youngster. And this is a great display of what Proving Ground can do for you. In just about a year's time, we saw Keith Haught go from really essentially a nobody on the IWC radar to an IWC Tag Team Champion, now rejoined by Zima, just talking about the meteoric rise of Keith Haught from not on the roster a year ago at Proving Ground to a Tag Champion today.
I just want to cuddle this guy. Look at him. He just looks so squishy and cuddleable.
There's a soundbite.
Cuddly. Is that a better cuddly?
Cuddleable?
Cuddle. I like cuddleable.
We'll dictionary.com it later.
He's so fluffy.
Keith is always he's fluffy. He's got some fluff to him. We'll go with that. Always about having a good time out here, dancing. Loves to put smiles on the faces of these fans, especially these kids.
And Tony Slaughter appears to be giving him an 8x10 picture of himself.
And certainly GQ Hayden Ferra.
Yeah, who's Tony Slaughter? I
umbrage.
have a on my sheet here. It says Tony Slaughter, but that's not his name.
That was a smooth cover, and now we see a handshake. Hayden Ferra victimized of a side headlock, and I guess certainly to stick with one of your many areas of expertise, I should ask you about that unorthodox hairstyle of Mr. Ferra.
Yeah, this guy claiming to be a model, much like myself. Perhaps we'll do a photo shoot together someday, I don't know.
That could be awkward, depending on the content of such photo shoot. You'd love to do a photo shoot with Keith Haught, though, wouldn't you?
I would.
We're learning.
He's a hot mess.
He is a hot mess. He is a hot mess.
He's also one half of the tag team champions.
Yes.
So,
and that's hot news.
that was a hot topic.
There we go.
You're so good.
Well, certainly it's
GQ here.
Yeah, Hayden Ferra is not about a laughing matter.
He's sick of these games, sick of this nonsense.
Yeah.
For a model, still has his T-shirt on.
Yes, he does.
I mean, most models are very quick to remove their shirts, but
maybe he's got a product placement gig for it. I don't know.
He's got his glasses. Look, he's got GQ's glasses are currently on the face of Keith Haught.
Yeah. Oh, Haught discovered some of GQ's property, and GQ takes those glasses very personally.
Oh.
It's almost like an extension of himself.
And those glasses about to get ruined.
And oh no!
That motorboating son of a gun.
Well, GQ's looks may be permanently marred after that.
He's taking a swing at the referee.
He can't see because he has a face full of something.
Another hip toss here. And what is going on? We've lost control of this one.
What happened to my life?
We've lost control.
I used to go to England, Ring of Honor television, and now I'm watching this.
GQ outside trying to collect himself right now.
Maybe GQ's keeping his shirt on because he's actually a hand model. You ever think of that?
You might be. Look at him getting aggressive.
With that little female child.
Keith Haught grabbing a handful of mohawk.
Well, two very unorthodox individuals.
What do we have here?
Well, we have Keith Haught getting shrugged off by GQ. I think he's a little bit verklempt, a little bit upset that
very flustered.
He's been made the butt of the jokes of Mr. Haught.
And now we got some scandalous activity.
Yes, certainly nothing you would ever attempt.
No, no, Joseph.
You good Christian boy, you.
What can I say? I learned from the best. I say my prayers, eat my vitamins. The Hulkster has taught me well,
I'm
Joseph.
just not sure who you prayed to and where those vitamins got imported from, but be that as it may.
You know me well.
There's a suplex by GQ. Still don't know much about him.
GQ trying to make metal sexy. Again, a theme of tonight. With the metal, the rock stars in IWC. We could start a band.
I thought metal had kind of a sex appeal all self already.
I would like to see somebody try to make black metal sexy. What do you think of that?
That would be very interesting. I never looked at like maybe Zakk Wylde as pinup material. That would be interesting. Reverse chinlock by GQ.
Keith Haught, look at him. Keith Haught, very agile for his size.
He is. Well, and that goes back to, as we see an inverted DDT from GQ gets to, it's what's written on the posterior of Keith Haught, hot mess. That's that top rope splash we saw from Keith Haught a number of times, of course, for the first time at Proving Ground last year.
It does not feel like marshmallows when all that force comes down.
Not at all. Not when gravity intervenes.
GQ using a lot of dastardly tactics here.
Well, that's a big boy to pick up.
Oh, he got it though. Shades
Impressive.
of Lex Luger slamming Yokozuna. Oh!
I think Luger removed the shirt though.
Lex would never wear a shirt, Joseph.
Exploiting the count of the official. Told you couldn't trust that CJ Sensation guy.
He's a sneaky individual.
For the rod goes Haught. A lot of weight to move.
A duck miscue here.
Oh man!
Shuts him down with that Uranagi.
And almost beat him with
2
it.
count. That was close.
I believe that's a variation of GQ's ego check.
The ego check.
Maneuver he's been attempted to perfect. And midway collision. You can almost sense the air rushing out of both these men.
Yeah. Haught needs to recollect himself if he's gonna.
Well, both men need to shake the cobwebs quickly. Whoever gets to their feet first, needless to say, will have the decisive advantage. And that is Keith Haught, who unloads. And check out the impact.
Keith Haught, very hard hitting.
Well, again, he's a guy who, if you judge the book by its cover, you will go in severely underestimating him. He's not a tag champion by accident. Colin Delaney didn't hand-select him as a tag partner by accident.
I see the potential. GQ, looks like he's got his bell rung here.
Keith Haught just waiting. Jiggling all around. Oh man. And you're not going to see flexibility like that on most men of that group.
I haven't seen flexibility for somebody that size since Super Oprah.
Oh, man.
He's going for that hot mess right now.
He is. Got it. Oh, the wind rushing out of the body. Goodbye. Well, Keith Haught proving here at Proving Ground, even though he is a expert tag team wrestler, learning quickly with an expert of tag team wrestling in Colin Delaney, Keith Haught could still get it done. One-on-one. Great display for the hot mess here tonight. And Keith Haught earning a new fan in Zema Ion.
And as you look around, you see W.A.R out here. You see the Texicans, Lowrider and Eric Ortiz, all the tag teams had their eyes on this match, scouting Keith Haught.
And that's the tag team division. That's how hot it's getting. That's how competitive it is. But Keith Haught sends a message in his own right. He plans to be a tag team champion with Colin Delaney for many, many months to come.
At this time, IWC is pleased to bring to the ring a very special guest. From WrestleZone.com and Chairshot Reality, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Justin LaVey.
Justin LaVey made his first appearance back at Super Indy, I do believe. He tried to host a live edition of Chairshot Reality, which is his online talk show on WrestleZone.com. Many prominent individuals, such as Mark Madden, Jack Corpella, Kevin Nash, Matt Hardy, others have been panelists and guests on that show.
Why does the crowd hate this guy so much?
Actually, I've been on that show for the record, but be that as it may, I think these fans kind of resent Justin LaVey coming in from an outside perspective into, well, let's face it, their adopted world, IWC, and LaVey trying to, let's say, tell them how it is.
Yeah, the guy seems to be a little full of himself, I'll say that.
There is no need to boo Pedro. Stop it.
Brother, it's July, there's a heat wave, he's wearing a leather jacket.
Maybe he's a greaser, like
Remy
LaVey.
Has arrived in Wino.
And he brought his expensive set again, too.
Top of the line.
Now first,
He had a third chair, but he had to make budget cuts.
This crowd is not going to let him get a word in.
shut up while I speak. Okay, first off, breaking news. I saw Pedro giving away shirts earlier. I did not get rich giving anything away. So if you would like one new Justin LaVey t-shirt, half of your rent pays right over there, you can get your new shirt. Now, Chairshot Reality has enhanced a lot of careers. Just recently, Matt Hardy was on Chairshot Reality. He got 50,000 new followers because of me. So, what I thought I was going to do, being that this is Proving Ground, I'm going to give some young Thundercat the career move of a lifetime by having him on this show. So please, give a warm welcome to Kevin Bennett.
Well, Kevin Bennett is a great young athlete, 19 years of age, 3-year pro out of the Buffalo, New York area. And Kevin Bennett actually, in his spare time away from the ring, is a rapper. He's a producer, he makes beats, he performs.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Because, you know, we only had 23 musicians on the show thus far.
We don't have a rapper, though.
We do not have a rapper. That is correct.
We're going to start the IWC band.
The Traveling Boot Band. I like it. And Kevin Bennett certainly marching to the beat of his own drum as part of that band. Very agile, energetic young man. Been wrestling since he was 16 years of age. Actually defeated former ECW stars Stevie Richards and Little Guido in a tag team match when he was 16 years old.
Wow. That's crazy. Question for you. Do you think his theme song is produced by him?
It actually is, from what I understand. He made his own music.
Not too many people can say that, Joseph.
No.
Kevin Bennett. Kevin Bennett. Well, welcome to Chair Shot Reality. You've probably never been in front of this many people. This is going to be intimidating. You're welcome for being on here. You haven't said thank you, but you're welcome. Intimidating stage. It's a career move of a lifetime. Thanks for coming. Nice to see every single one of you people here. Thank you very much. I want to thank IWC for bringing me here today. I came all the way from Buffalo, New York. Now, anyways, you didn't really talk about Chair Shot Reality. You know, Chair Shot Reality, I've done 186 episodes. I've had Kevin Nash, Chris Sheridan, Jerry Lawler. Do you realize what this is going to do for your career? What's your favorite Chair Shot Reality moment?
I'd say the end credits.
Honestly, I've never actually seen your show before. I'm happy to be here. I'm ready to prove to you guys exactly who Kevin Bennett is.
Yeah, that's who it's about. It's about the young talent, not Justin LaVey. Well, some kind of note just got passed into LaVey from one of our staff members.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, Kevin Bennett was going to compete against a debuting RJ City. However, I have here an urgent telegram from Mr. City.
Telegram?
They still have those?
I would like to read it. Please.
I don't think they do. Maybe it took a while to get here.
Dear Kevin, Frank Sinatra does not duet with Justin Bieber. Gene Kelly does not co-star with Channing Tatum. And I will not be wrestling you tonight.
Well, the first two are because they're deceased.
I have a series of demands with IWC for my appearance tonight, and your mere presence violates all of them. The reality is, I specifically asked not to face a generic-looking, suicide-diving, high-spot-loving indie scumbag. Hey, he wrote it. I am a multi-talented sports entertainment artist, and my debut needs to be handled with the proper care and circumstance. I'm sure you've had a lot of heart and do beautiful flips. Why don't you see if Cirque du Soleil is hiring? To my heartbroken fans, do not fret. When I make my IWC debut, I will treat you all to a complimentary autograph for a nominal fee. Love forever and always, the man who put the entertainment back in sports entertainment, RJ City. And P.S. Since you're probably standing in the ring with your gear on like an idiot, I went the extra mile, I notified the locker room, and I have found a suitable opponent for you.
How conceited can one human being get?
This RJ City guy.
And it's up to you at home if I'm talking about LaVey or RJ City. Well, I recognize that music.
Yeah.
That's Team Big League music there.
That's not a good situation for Kevin Bennett, is what that is.
Not in the least. I noticed as soon as we get near physicality, LaVey hightails it out of here. That is quite obviously Joseph Brooks of Team Big League, frequent tag partner of Jimmy Nuts, and apparently he has his price, recruited by RJ City to fill the void, or perhaps just volunteered to prove a point because Brooks' tag team partner Jimmy Nuts has a chance at the IWC title in our feature matchup.
Yeah, that will be an interesting one to see, but Joseph Brooks definitely has something to prove here tonight. Initially not announced for the show, so maybe feeling a little slighted.
I think that could be the case, and Brooks is somebody who you've certainly followed the career of for a number of years.
Yeah, we actually went to the same college. I used to see him in the gym. I thought Brian Pillman resurrected.
There you go. A little bit of a new look for Joseph Brooks here this evening, however.
Yeah, I think he's just copying me because I cut my hair.
No, I don't think it all goes back to you, Mr. Ion.
I think it does.
Side headlock by Kevin Bennett. Well, certainly, with how well you know Joseph Brooks, you can provide some insight. If you're Kevin Bennett, how would you endeavor to defeat Mr. Brooks?
Joseph Brooks, he's very sneaky. Much like many guys that we've seen throughout tonight, Joseph Brooks very, very cheap. He will use some underhanded tricks to get the victory, and if Kevin Bennett isn't prepared, he will take whatever advantage he needs to take to win this match.
Well, Bennett, not a lot of mass on his frame, but certainly using it to his advantage, quickening the pace, taking Brooks down a series of times. This is not the first time we've seen Kevin Bennett in IWC. He actually participated in a battle royal in Clearfield, Pennsylvania late last year. We've seen Bennett's frequent tag partner up in the Buffalo, New York, Erie, PA area, tag partner / rival Brandon Thurston, compete at Proving Ground last year in a losing effort to Gory. Haven't seen him since. Bennett looking to impress more so than his compatriot did, and hopefully become a regular spot to the IWC roster. We've just seen a lot of influx from New York area stars over the past year.
I have noticed that. There's something in the water up there. A lot of talented wrestlers, though, that they are producing in that area. And Kevin Bennett showing why right now, flustering Joseph Brooks till he shut him down.
Brooks, the veteran, quite obviously, not to mention the guidance of John McChesney as he gets caught coming off the second there, but the guidance of John McChesney, and of course the executive consultant, Norm Connors, as well. Can't shrug a shoulder at that.
Yeah, speaking of Norm Connors, conspicuous by his absence tonight, would you say?
Absolutely. I think as Bennett springs in with a drop kick, nicely done. Cover two. I think Norm Connors has more or less washed his hands in at least tonight's proceedings. I don't think he wants to be around when the powder keg explodes, if it explodes, when Jimmy Nuts has a chance to beat John McChesney for the IWC Championship.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy. Who knows what's going to happen in that one. But right now, Joseph Brooks letting out some of his frustrations on Kevin Bennett.
And Bennett went high risk once too many. Brooks caught him from the blind side, able to drop Bennett down on the back of the neck. Can you believe the tone that Justin LaVey took with Kevin Bennett before this matchup started? Went cover in the ring, only won that time, shows the resolve of Bennett. But LaVey just talking down, just so demeaning towards Kevin Bennett before Bennett even has a chance to show what he can offer.
Yeah, I can see why the crowd is not too fond of Mr. LaVey.
You know, it's great that LaVey has his online talk show, and he can analyze wrestling 2-0, and he has all these online fans legitimately called LaBarbarians that hang on to his every word, but the fact of the matter is, any doofus with a camera and some money can interview Matt Hardy on the internet.
I think RJ City and Justin LaVey would get along quite well.
I think they may be two-piece in a pod. LaVey seemed right at home reading that telegram, don't you think?
Yeah.
Surprised it wasn't sent via Pony Express.
Maybe Corey Futuristic went back in the past and sent the telegram.
There you go. Chinlock. Be that as it may, RJ City, another unique individual that we gotta believe, we gotta expect him on his way to IWC, even though he's not here tonight, refusing to compete in an opportunity that we as a company gave him to prove himself.
Yeah, who does he think he is, Joseph?
I know he's a big TV star on Nickelodeon every week, but that's a little ridiculous.
Why would we want to give this guy another opportunity when he turned down the one that we've already given him?
Absolutely. What the heck's a high spot anyway? He had that in the tail.
Yeah, never heard of that.
Follows through. Roll up by Bennett, nicely done. Bennett now Pat O'Connor roll up. And if Bennett can defeat Brooks, a very established member of the IWC roster, I think that's going to ensure Bennett a regular opportunity here in the International Wrestling Cartel.
Without a doubt. He's definitely hanging with Joseph Brooks at the moment.
Slips underneath the full Nelson, nicely done. Shades of Billy Jack Haynes.
Billy Jack, I believe I once purchased a sticker of Billy Jack Haynes off somebody I know.
Lucky guy that was. Nicely done. That's called Benadryl.
They're so creative with the names for their moves, Joseph. What do you think?
Creative and impactful and effective.
What do we have here?
Standing moonsault. Bennett could have this. Upset. No.
Picture perfect on the moonsault.
Man, Bennett looking good for 19 here. Another guy wise beyond his years. You wouldn't know he was this young just by looking at how well he's competing.
Absolutely, and like I said earlier with Sammy Guevara, like, scary to think how good these guys will be in a few years.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
Oh, went for a discus boot, another specialty of Bennett, but Brooks jumps up, connects with a flatliner. That's going to do it.
Here is your winner, Joseph Brooks.
Well, I think Brooks got more of a fight than he intended to have, but Brooks still making a statement on behalf of Team Big League here tonight with a victory. A lot of stories to talk about here. Joseph Brooks, how does he feel about our main event, Jimmy Nuts and John McChesney? Kevin Bennett proving himself well in my estimation. RJ City on his way in the future, apparently, and Justin LaVey not endearing himself to anybody. Perhaps the most physically imposing and decorated faction in the history of the International Wrestling Cartel. Dennis Gregory, Jimmy Vegas, Super Hentai, the founding fathers have in some form or another been a staple of this organization for about the past 3 years. And very, very few men have been able to slow them down, let alone stop them. But as of late, it seems like there's been a little bit of infighting, a little bit of the old tried and true malfunction in the junction, because it seems that Gregory and Vegas have done something that very few people have ever done in the past. They have doubted Super Hentai. Hentai has dropped a couple pinfall losses for the fathers in recent months. That can't be denied. But Hentai really showed us something back at Super Indy, the event he created and popularized, when he just absolutely assaulted Andrew Palace one-on-one. Does Hentai have that focus back? Are any questions, any doubts about Hentai erased? We will find out in the six-man tag.
And their opponents.
And we'll
They weigh in into the weight of 525 pounds. Here is the team of H.D. Cannon, Sam Cassidy, and Justin Idol.
So we have a teacher with his students, Joseph.
And while founding fathers have been together for years, certainly these three, Justin Idol, Sam Cassidy, and H.D. Cannon, have been together in the physical sense. This is the first time they've ever teamed in a six-man tag team attraction. That could be something to watch for. And Justin Idol, an individual who's been marred in controversy himself, earned a contract in IWC when he defeated all members of Team Big League over a multi-month stretch, but then refused the contract, was apparently offended at the fact that he had to go through the rigors to earn that contract in the first place.
I could understand the frustration. Justin Idol, you know, he's very decorated here in IWC. He's been around for years and years and years. Like, I could understand feeling like he has nothing left to prove.
Certainly that's very true in many respects. You can make a case for that. I think the concern of the company was the health of Justin Idol after he had taken a year and a half off due to a severe back injury, spinal degeneration, I believe it was. Chuck Roberts wanted to make sure that Justin Idol was 100% to come back, or don't come back at all, because it would be not only a liability for the company, but a danger for Justin as a person. Chuck had the best interest of Justin looked out, but I don't think Justin took it as such.
Yeah, and right now we're about to take a look at the debut of one of his latest students, Sam Cassidy. And certainly, man, he really got some bad luck here. Matched up against the Founding Fathers in his debut match.
Well, you got to believe Justin Idol chose him out of all the other students for a reason. Idol has to see something in Sam Cassidy that perhaps the other students haven't grasped yet, but will in the future.
That being said, he's in the ring with Super Hentai, who, this is Proving Grounds, the guy has something to prove to himself and to the other Founding Fathers, because they see him as a weak link.
Absolutely.
So this is not a guy that you want to be in the ring with.
Well, let's keep in mind, Sam Cassidy has been dubbed the Natural because of his natural athletic skill that was discovered during his training at the Iron City Wrestling Academy. He actually does have an amateur wrestling background. If Cassidy can keep this on the ground, he may have an advantage, or at least less of a disadvantage.
And it just goes to show also how great of a trainer Justin Idol has been. You got HD Cannon, who has already had tryouts with the WWE, only 1 year in the business.
HD Cannon has really come into his own, was really the star attraction that we didn't even count on HD Cannon even competing a year ago at Proving Ground 1, but he ended up defeating John McChesney a number of shows in a row. Pinfall, countout, disqualification, I believe. HD had McChesney's number for a long, long time. And could lightning strike twice with Sam Cassidy? Hey, stranger things have happened. Hentai elevated. And with the question of where Hentai's mind is and what the Founding Fathers' mindset is toward Hentai, this may be the best opportunity Cassidy will have.
And that looks like some little bit of criticizing here from the other Founding Fathers.
Gregory is chastising Hentai. Vega's just blatantly laughing in Hentai's face because, hey, the rookie got the better of you. And let's not discount Sam Cassidy or HD Cannon, although the mood just changed.
Yeah, we got the two big guys in the match in the ring now, about to lock horns.
And it's almost awkward to call anybody big when they're standing next to a man like Jimmy Vegas, who just towers over you.
This is a test of strength I would legitimately love to see.
Well, seem about even thus far. I'm not even sure who the height would favor. Well, Vegas in the early going, manipulating HD Cannon.
Vegas showing that raw strength right there.
Vegas, first ever two-time IWC champion in company history. Man that holds pinfall wins over men like CM Punk, Raven, Tommy Dreamer, the Sandman. And Gregory gets a cheap shot. Keep in mind, Gregory's been pinned by HD Cannon in the recent past. There's a score to be settled there. As HD Cannon elevates Vegas. I did not expect to see that spine buster out of HD.
HD right now showing the Founding Fathers what he's made of. Big spine buster right there, and now Vegas not having any more of that.
Not at all. Vegas, the only man I've ever seen in my life to withstand 3 different Jerry Lawler pile drivers. A move that has sent many men to the hospital. But Jimmy Vegas shrugged it off.
You got to think about the neck strength of a guy like Jimmy Vegas. He catches bears in those traps.
And as strong as Vegas is, so too is Gregory crafty.
Gregory just letting out his frustrations after that cheap shot that HD gave him on the apron.
As we mentioned, HD pinned Dennis Gregory a few months back, and you know that is a big blow to the ego of Dennis Gregory, the only 5-time champion in IWC history.
Without a doubt. I'll give this to the young guns here, Sam Cassidy and HD Cannon. Do not appear to be intimidated by the Founding Fathers, despite their inexperience.
Well, and that's a big step forward. Sometimes when you're in the ring with the Founding Fathers, you could defeat yourself before the bell even rings. When you see the accolades, the track record, the history, the dangerousness of the Founding Fathers, it almost seems insurmountable. An idol from behind. And it's Idol and Gregory now. Was there a tag made between HD and
That
Idol?
was a blind tag. I saw it.
All right, well, certainly, Zima, your tag team expertise coming into play.
I have glasses now. I can see things.
Here you go. And that trademark swagger of Dennis Gregory is back in business.
Justin Idol appearing to be a step quicker.
Nicely done by Idol, who once again has not been competing a full-time schedule in IWC in a number of years. But so too, you have to keep in mind he's in the ring each and every week
Exactly.
in the ICWA. Great agility by Cassidy as he's tagged in. What is the biggest gift that Sam Cassidy has? What is his biggest strength into this matchup as we see a neckbreaker by the youngster into the cover, smartly done? Is it that natural ability? What does this kid have that's going to take him to the next level?
I think part of it is the fact that he was trained by Justin Idol, a guy who is no stranger at all to the Founding Fathers. He's been in the ring with these guys many times for many years. So he's definitely familiar with what they do, and he certainly passed down that knowledge to Sam Cassidy.
Well, this is exactly the last place Cassidy wanted to be, thrown into enemy territory. And Gregory manipulating HD Cannon, who's got a temper, no doubt.
HD Cannon, correct me if I'm wrong, he's been at odds with the Founding Fathers the last few months.
Absolutely has.
Well, what is the issue there? I mean,
Well, I think the Founding Fathers, they're always quick to bully anybody. And HD Cannon, I think they saw as a rising star, a potential threat. We saw HD involved in a tag team matchup involving the Founding Fathers back at Night of Superstars. Memory serves, HD caught the Founding Fathers off guard there, leading to a victory. Hentai with triple knees in the corner, something you felt many a time, Zima.
yeah, I have had many wars with Super
Your fault.
Hentai, and I certainly question anyone calling him a weak link. I've been on the receiving end of many brutal beatings.
You
from
called
him.
him a weak link at one point, and
Well,
you paid dearly for it.
Yes, I was humbled.
Indeed. And now, what in the world is this? I don't think everybody got tagged in. Founding
Well, they got
Fathers
until a 5 count.
manipulating the rules just as they have since day one. Enjoying toying with this kid, not even going for a cover. Dennis Gregory is just absolutely timeless.
Yeah, he's having a good time in there. It looks like he's definitely getting some enjoyment out of abusing young Sam Cassidy.
And boy, is he in a good mood now that he's back in control and getting some retribution for some of these young guys that have gotten the better of him. Tag back into Vegas.
If I were Sam Cassidy, I would really think about trying to tag out right now.
Well, I'm sure the thought is heavy on his mind, but getting there's the problem. Vegas, man who absolutely dominated the early years of this organization.
Still looking pretty dominant right now, I'll say that.
That hard belly to belly. And again, just having a good time. The Founding Fathers, I think, have written off these youngsters, which may or may not be a mistake. This is all about, I believe, the Fathers reestablishing their turf. But check out Cassidy.
Cassidy's showing me something here.
Hurricane Rana got the big man leveraged over.
Cassidy, he needs to make it to that corner right now. Vegas is hot on pursuit.
Yeah, you got to create that distance. You got to get Vegas in a compromising position. You don't want to turn your back on this guy. Cross body. And now, Cassidy may have a chance. Vegas needs some help as well, and that doesn't happen very often. Roll through, tag to Hentai, and here comes HD Cannon.
HD's fired up. He's wanted to be in this match for the last few minutes.
Grabs the freshest man in this contest now. Unloading with drop kicks. Gonna elevate Hentai.
There's Vegas though.
Oh! How do you lose sight of a 280-pound man? Well, Cassidy's got Hentai, but Gregory with a thrust kick. And here comes Idol. And this matchup has completely broken down. Idol in the ring with an overhead suplex as Hentai Trout almost had him.
That was so close, and you could imagine how angry the Founding Fathers would have been had Hentai been pinned once again.
We get Vegas in HD. We got Cassidy and Gregory brawling on the outside. Hentai half a second away from maybe being back in the hot seat. And Idol directing traffic. He wants a count out. Hey, that'll count. Lemons needs to assert some authority here. And Idol looking to take advantage of an opportunity. Got a step ahead of himself and now drops down on top of all the Founding Fathers. The fathers needed to regroup. Idol knew it, picked his spot and capitalized, and now we could have a count-out win.
Yeah, HD, the only one currently in the ring right now. Bodies everywhere on the floor.
And HD's a legal man.
Maybe HD's gonna fly.
Could happen. May not need it. 4 seconds away, and we can have a victory.
We've got Vegas to his feet right now. What's going on here? Idol stopping Vegas from getting back in the ring.
Well, Hentai's the legal man. That's what matters here. We're
Look at Justin Idol holding Hentai's leg right now.
Idol sneaking around and grabbed the leg. Hentai got counted out.
And HD Cannon.
The team of Justin Idol, Sam Cassidy, and HD Cannon.
Unreal. Justin Idol outsmarting the Founding Fathers, and how often do you say that?
And now look at this dissension in the ranks once again. Gregory and Hentai having words.
And as much as I'm not a Founding Fathers fan, I gotta stick up for Hentai here. It wasn't his fault. Idol came in from the blind side, grabbed the leg. Idol took a shortcut. He just out-shortcutted the Founding Fathers, did Idol.
The Founding Fathers are falling apart before our eyes, Joseph.
Gregory and Vegas no longer trusting Hentai. HD Cannon, Justin Idol, newcomer Sam Cassidy, they got the victory over the most decorated faction in IWC history. Gregory and Vegas were on top of the world that whole matchup. But things came tumbling down when Idol outsmarted Hentai, and now there will be quite an uneasy conversation back in the Founding Father private dressing room, and we're getting a little bit of it right here in front of the world. And we've seen the Founding Fathers walk out on Hentai in the past.
Looks like they're about to do it again.
And Hentai wants to talk, and we better let him, or else we will all be physically harmed.
Justin! Justin, get out of here!
Hentai. Words for Justin Idol, obviously.
Get in this ring!
This is enemy territory for Justin. He's now a man alone. His partners have
Yeah, I got something to say.
gone to the locker room. Can Idol trust
What is
this?
it, Justin? Why do you have a problem with me lately? What, is this building bringing back memories? How I defeated you for the Super Indie title in the tournament a few years back?
Finals of, I believe, Super Indie 8?
That I beat you in your rematch. You going 0 for 2. What is it, kid? Listen, you know what? It's funny. No one here knows if you're coming or going. You get a contract off of you. Oh, I'm not going to take it. What? You want to be the center of attention? I don't know what it is. You know what? I don't care. I do care less. I'll tell you what. Cage Fury. You and me. Loser leaves IWC.
Whoa! That's big. That's huge.
Could you imagine IWC without either of these guys? They've been such a stable for so long.
It's okay, you don't have to answer me now. You can answer me in a text, or in an email, or by snail mail, or by... That's real funny, Dad. Real funny. But I'll give you my answer right now.
I'm not going to back down from a challenge, and we got a big problem out here. We got a fight, and Vegas and Gregory aren't lifting a hand to help Hentai. Staff members and other young wrestlers out here
bailing out.
Well, when you got two men with tempers like this,
quite combustible.
We all know Hentai's track record in Idol. He's got the respect of all these young men, and they're gonna fight some more. And that shows how much this means to Hentai, how far he'll go to prove himself to the Founding Fathers. If he's not worthy of being a Founding Father, he'll die trying to be.
Hey, stop it, listen! Stop it, no! Justin! Justin, don't do it! Hey, Hentai! Listen to me! Stop it! You guys both got a problem with each other. You got a problem with me, Justin. You want to turn down a contract. And Hentai, I don't know what the hell your problem is, but you haven't been the same in a long time. But you know what? After watching the matches here tonight, I could certainly use an open spot on this roster. So I say we do it. And if you guys are serious, which it looks like you are, it's going to be ironclad. At Cage Fury, loser leaves IWC, but you can't touch each other till then. Cage Fury.
Well, both men forced to be reserved now. Idol just nailed one of his own students. He just clocked one of his kids right in the face. He's so absolutely off the deep end about this situation. Idol's not happy with IWC. Hentai's not happy with his tag partners. Neither of these men have ever liked one another. Tempers are boiling over. Two, as you said, Zima, staples of this organization for so many years, the lifeblood of this company, some of the building blocks of this company to make it what it is. Hentai, the super indie innovator. Idol, one of the greatest tag wrestlers in the history of this company. One of them will be gone for good at Caged Fury and never compete in IWC again. Is Hentai good enough? Is Idol good enough? There's been speculation surrounding both. In my opinion, they both got a lot left in the tank, but only one will be able to prove it here. Well, John McChesney wasting no time getting out here for his scheduled main event, a matchup he does not want to participate in.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for IWC Proving Ground 2 main event of the evening. It's a singles contest of a one fall. Shut up, Pedro! Chuck Roberts and everybody here in White Oak, you're having a great time, huh? I can't believe I came back to this piss pull town after the way you treated me last night. You all thought it was funny last year when that little kid had a birthday party and smashed a cake in my face. I got every last stupid IWC trainee came in here and ripped my $5,000 suit to shreds, leaving me one on my boxers. You all thought that was funny too, didn't you? You shut up, man, or I'll kick those teeth right down your throat. Maybe I'll just set you up. Where is she? Yeah, I'll set you up with that dirtbag right there, huh? You want that, huh? You should never be allowed in IWC again. You should be sent away by social services for the way you treat your kids. Now, you know what? Chuck Roberts, you think you're funny? Tonight, how dare you put me in a match against my own member of Team Bigby? What are you, nuts, Chuck?
Well, he's not.
Well, the crowd seems to have,
The crowd's going nuts.
Jimmy Nuts, you've been a proud member of let's do what we talked about. You get out here, let's take care of business. North Connors has a limo coming. We're gonna go out in the bus in Pittsburgh and have a great time. So let's just come on out here and do what we talked about. Come on, right now.
He's trying to butter him up already and distract him. Limos and nightclubs and everything you've ever dreamed. Let's just get this unimportant title match over with. John McChesney is threatened because he's taught Jimmy Nuts all the John McChesney tricks.
Jimmy Nuts, a guy that debuted last year at this show.
And now he's in the main event, contesting for the IWC Championship.
And what's he gonna do? The crowd is firmly behind him. McChesney offering him all these perks. What's the guy gonna do?
It was an offer that Jimmy Nuts couldn't help but ponder when Chuck Roberts brought up this opportunity. A brilliant maneuver in Chuck Roberts' mind, in my estimation. We just saw Norm Connors try to divide and conquer with Dalton Castle and Logan Shulo. Chuck doing the same with McChesney and Jimmy Nuts.
You know why you're sitting there giving me the middle finger? Your son likes me more than you. That's why he's wearing my shirt right now. Jimmy! How's it going? It's good to see Jimmy. Jimmy. Hey, remember in Vegas last week? All night long we were talking about gold. You and Joe Brooks having the tag team titles. And Bobby Fish having the super title. And then we talked about who's going to stay the IWC champion.
You gonna end this on a handshake?
Ring the bell. Ring the bell.
Well, I guess they've discussed this, and there's a plan in place. And as prestigious as the tag titles are, that's not the IWC Championship, though. That's for sure. I believe McChesney is motioning for Jimmy Nuts to lay down.
Jimmy Nuts, if he was gonna lay down, I don't think he would have went through all the trouble of putting on his wrestling gear and getting all oiled up.
Well, possibly. We'll see. McChesney is a very persuasive man. He recruited Nuts in the first place. He recruited Brooks. He recruited Bobby Fish.
But look, Jimmy Nuts, he's laying down.
There you go. The limos and the jets and the Vegas vacations. That's worth a lot. Whoa.
Uh-oh.
I don't think he's sure yet. Amazing ovation for this young man.
Jimmy, we talked about this in extensive detail. Think of the possibilities. World champ, Super Indie champ, you and Brooks, tag team champion.
Yeah, think of the possibilities. You only get so many chances, kid.
Please. You want to give them up a family. You please, what I ask.
Well, it's always been about one thing in Team Big League, and you don't need three guesses to figure it out.
Jimmy Nuts is not going to lay down.
There's a degree of pride with any professional wrestler. You don't just concede that you're not as good as your opponent. You win, you lose in the center of the ring. You fight. What is this?
Hey, look at this!
Roll up, new champ! No! Jimmy Nuts almost won the IWC title. I think we have our decision.
We're gonna have a fight, Joseph.
And Chuck Roberts' master plan seems to be coming to fruition. There's infighting in Team Big League. And it all surrounds the IWC title. Hello.
Channeling a little Keith Haught there.
McChesney, well, Nuts escapes. Snapmare, and Jimmy Nuts is taking it to one of his bosses. Outsmarting him too. Huge elbow finish on the back body drop. Jimmy Nuts dominating the IWC champion in the early going. McChesney finally slips out the back door for salvation.
And we saw dissension in the ranks earlier with the Founding Fathers, and now we're seeing it again with Team Big League. Factions falling apart right before our eyes tonight, Joseph.
Yeah, this is taking it to a whole new level. This was the plan from day one. Obviously, Jimmy Nuts has loyalty to John McChesney, but how could any competitor, as McChesney hits the post hard, how could any competitor turn down an opportunity to be at the top of the IWC mountain, somewhere you have been before in the past as well, sir?
And Jimmy Nuts, this goes to show, this is Proving Grounds. It's the Young Talent Initiative. This is young talent with the opportunity of a lifetime here. He ain't gonna lay down. I don't care what his affiliation is with McChesney. He's hungry, he's young, he's talented, and he is ready for an opportunity at this heavyweight title.
And McChesney perched precariously on that guardrail, wide open for the knife edge chops. But McChesney is a chopping machine. Oh. And McChesney's velocity on those strikes comes back to haunt him. Hand to post. McChesney may have broken a bone in his hand. The big question on my mind right now is how will the dynamic in Team Big League change if Jimmy Nuts wins the IWC title? And with that thought, how will it change if he doesn't?
And what do people like Joe Brooks, Bobby Fish, where do they stand right now?
Joe Brooks already competing earlier tonight. Bobby Fish is not here this evening.
Well, this is some unique offense.
What happened to my life again? And there you go. Jimmy Nuts living up to his namesake. And we talked about it earlier. You go for style points and insult more so than injury. You're going to pay for it, especially in the ring with a man as experienced and seasoned like John McChesney. Yeah. There's a time and a place for things like that, but not in your first heavyweight championship matchup.
Absolutely.
There's a 2 count. And Jimmy Nuts, like we talked about earlier with Ashton Amherst, Nuts has captured regional championships in this area. He has been on top of other organizations, but until you've done it with the letters IWC on that ring skirt, it does not mean a damn thing. Nuts underestimated that fact, and he paid for it.
Nuts, maybe the reaction from the crowd getting the best of him, maybe a little too focused on them, and he was kicked in his namesake, Joseph.
He was.
And now McChesney.
And
McChesney firmly in control.
That's the inexperience of this opportunity. He's learning on the fly is Jimmy Nuts. McChesney is right at home. 2 count off of the high elevation drop kick, another McChesney staple. McChesney has taught Jimmy Nuts much of everything Jimmy Nuts knows, but did John McChesney teach Jimmy Nuts everything John McChesney knows?
I highly doubt it. McChesney, this is a guy, he stood toe-to-toe with so many people over the years. CM Punk, Christopher Daniels, Low Key. This guy is no joke. He's the heavyweight champion for a reason.
And if you want to talk about just pure amount of days, cumulative all career, I believe John McChesney has held the IWC title longer than anybody in our 11 or 12 year history.
I believe that. Certainly, arguably the most decorated guy in the history of IWC.
I believe a 4-time Super Indy champion as well. Winner of Super Indy 4 way back when. Another 2 count.
So if you're Jimmy Nuts, you wonder if this is going through his mind right now, knowing who he's in the ring with right now.
Well, he's had about 4 weeks or so to think about this decision. And I think Jimmy Nuts, in the back of his mind, realized, ready or not, you got to take it. You got to give it your all. And you can't be in the ring with John McChesney and not understand what you're dealing with. Not understand the lineage of success that McChesney has had. Nuts hung up on that bottom ring cable, which has very little give and it'll snap back right into your throat coming down.
McChesney seems pretty proud of himself at the moment.
Well, nothing new there. Jimmy Nuts had to take the opportunity, but will he live to regret it? That's the question. McChesney, victim of a jawbreaker. Nuts having trouble getting his sea legs under him, so to speak. McChesney looking to get retribution for his events here a year ago when he was stripped, caked, assaulted, humiliated, and thrown out on the streets.
Jimmy Nuts
getting a second wind here behind him. I think it's time for Jimmy to go nuts. Unloading on McChesney. For the ride now, goes Big League, no reversal. Back now. Nicely done, sky high, riding bomb, got him, no!
so close. Jimmy Nuts was so close to winning the heavyweight title right there.
And again, another man just in his early 20s to accomplish that feat at such a young age. I'm not sure off the top of my head the youngest IWC champion ever, but certainly it may be you and it may be Jimmy Nuts after tonight. Corkscrew elbow.
What?
Man, new champion!
What? Just like that, Jimmy Nuts!
Jimmy Nuts just won the title!
Wait.
What is this? We have a second official waving us off. Jimmy Nuts just did the impossible, the unthinkable. Made the ultimate risky decision, but...
And Chuck has intervened.
Officials conferring, owner Chuck Roberts out here. We're not done here yet. Jake Clemens saw something that Troy Davis in the ring did not.
No, hold on. Listen, Troy, I wouldn't normally do this, but it's for the heavyweight title. And McChesney, I certainly don't owe you any favors. But Troy, both of those shoulders are down. Jake's exactly right. We're not gonna have a match end like this. Jimmy, your shoulders were pinned to the mat just as much as John's. Now, John, the bell rings, so I guess the match is over, right, John? Right? Yeah? You think the match is over, John? You're right, no, it's not over. Restart this match.
Chuck Roberts making the only call he can. Looking at it, and McChesney with a TKO. Great call by the officials, and McChesney almost stole it. But Jimmy Nuts not ready to die yet.
A John McChesney staple that move. He's put away a lot of guys with that one, but Jimmy Nuts still has some fight left in him.
And great call by these officials to notice Nuts' shoulders down as well. It was only the right thing to do, but it may only be prolonging the inevitable. Thrust kick countered, got the elbow again, no, what? McChesney may have gone to the trunks, but still not enough. And Nuts has McChesney up. Face plant. The elbow pad's off. The bone is exposed. Oh my God! Nuts got caught turning around. He turned into the thrust kick and he got beat.
Here's your winner, and still IWC Heavyweight Champion, Big League, John McChesney.
Jimmy Nuts went for it once. He connected. He had McChesney down for 3 seconds, but unfortunately so was Jimmy. That one instance of that elbow strike, McChesney learned. The second one was countered. The third one met with a thrust kick that was the kiss of death in Jimmy Nuts' championship dreams.
But what an effort by Jimmy Nuts. Came so close to being the new heavyweight champion, and you gotta wonder, what does this mean for the future of Team Big League, Joseph?
And you gotta wonder, had Nuts landed a little bit differently on top of McChesney after that first corkscrew elbow, what different reality would we be living in now? Could Jimmy Nuts be the IWC champion? Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a huge night here at Proving Ground 2 in White Oak, Pennsylvania at the Athletic Association. Jimmy Nuts has certainly proven himself on an upper tier than we previously thought. But what's his future in Team Big League? How will Norm Connors, the executive consultant, and especially John McChesney, react to Jimmy Nutt's decision to take this matchup? And who from tonight's card will be next in line to join the IWC roster full time? Zima Ion, want to thank you for having yourself here at our table to enjoy Proving Ground here tonight with us. It's been an amazing night. You've been there, so many more are as well. Team Big League back on the same page for now. At least on the surface. Will there be any repercussions? McChesney needs Nuts, perhaps more than Nuts needs McChesney, as we've learned tonight. But now, we turn to Cage Fury, where McChesney has a party peacock awaiting McChesney Castle on our next DVD release. We'll see you then. Good night.